So guys, I'm excited to bring you this one. I've got some new shoes to test. I've been doing my winter training and I've run all my trainers completely into the ground. It's April now, so there's be some summer races coming up, so it's time to buy some new shoes. I've got in here the Nike Vaporfly version 4. I've got the Nike Alphafly version 3, and I've got the Puma Fast R. Now, they are like gold dust. I've struggled for ages to get them, but I finally got a pair of them. I've not opened any of the boxes yet. I couldn't decide which ones I wanted to get, so I'm going to buy. I bought all three. I'm going to see what I think of them, road test them, do some speed work in them, and then basically just run them into the ground and see which I think is the best one. So let's dive in and let's have a look at them. Like I said, I've not opened them yet, so I'm excited to see what they look like. So this, I think, judging by the size of the boxes, is probably, it's the Vaporfly. So Vaporfly version 4, I've got a set of the ones and I really like them. Really good for 5Ks and 10Ks, I would say as well. You can see the fly plate in there. That's the carbon plate in there. I think I paid about, you can get them in the offers, but they're about £240. Let's take that out. They are quite light. I've made some notes because I'll never remember any of this. So these are 190 grams with a 6mm drop. And the color is black and white hyper pink. They look really nice. They're very similar to the ones. And I probably will use these for 5Ks and stuff. So that's those. Let's now move on. It's always good to have a look at a first impression comparing them because you can sort of instantly see the differences. Oh, yeah. So these are the Alphaflys. Oh, yeah. You get I've got a couple of pairs of the original version ones, and they give you a nice bag like this. And that's pretty cool. Let's put that down there. Let's have a look at these then. Oh, yeah. You can see the difference in them. Let's take the card out. Yeah. So that, oh, blooming hell. They're lovely. They are. So you can see the fly plate all the way through the bottom, and then you've got the two pods. So these are definitely for marathons. I've got two pairs of the version 1s, which I use for marathons. This lip thing here, that's a bit weird. But other than that, they look really nice. And I think they are £285, 218 grams. They do feel slightly heavier than the Vaporflies, and there's an 8mm drop on them. But yeah, as a marathon shoe, I mean, they're really nice. The color of that is, let's get rid of that bit of card. Color is glacier blue, black mint foam. Very nice. And then finally, let's have a look at these gold dusts, because I'm a Nike boy, to be honest. And I really like my Nikes, but these have been so hyped and they're so hard to get hold of that, because enough packaging, oh yeah, here we go. I'm really excited to try these. There's a lot of card in here. Let's get that out. Oh yeah, they're weird. They're like a space shoe. So you've got the really exaggerated cutaway there. I'm a bit of a heel striker, so I'm quite interested to see how I get on with this, because that's going to land like that. But I can see right through them. I can see the laces inside, and this lip is odd. All of these are a size 9, and these were £260. I didn't mind paying full price for these because they're just so hard to get hold of. And it's fun to try. Everybody's hyped them up, and it's going to be it's very, very light, much lighter than those two down there. This is 175 grams, 8mm drop, and the color of this is apple spritz deep plum. Not seeing any plum, to be honest. Oh, maybe that's the black bit. But yeah, they're quite nice. But the key is, I'm not going to tell you about what the upper's made of and all of the rest of it. The nub of it is, you just want to know which is the fastest shoe, which is going to give me a PB, what it's made of. I'm not interested. The upper could be made of gilded Fabergé egg and moon dust. And if that other one is made of chocolate, I'm going to run in the one with chocolate because I want the fastest shoe. So I'm not interested in what the upper's made of and all the rest of it. So these are them. These are pretty nice, actually. That cutaway is mad. That is mad, but I've been itching to get a pair of these. So I'm going to probably take them out for an easy run, then do some tempo work, and then do some speed work, and compare all three and see what I think. Okay, we're down here at Rock Park, which is the home of Barnstable Park Run. Testing the shoes, the Vaporfly for the Alphafly 3 and the Fast R. I've just done a little warm-up and I've mapped out a bit of a mile circuit. So I'm going to do a mile in all three of them at 6s, which is marathon pace. And then I'm going to do about half a mile at 5:30 pace in all three of them, which is 10k pace. Just so I can see how they feel at marathon pace and at 10k pace. I didn't want to just go off and do K reps because I thought I might have some sort of cognitive bias where I might try harder in the Pumas or the Alphas. I just wanted to run at a static pace and just then go on feel and see how they feel. If at the end of the session I fancy doing a few more bits, I might do if I've got the time, but that's the plan. 3 by a mile and 3 by half mile, and I'll literally change my shoes as quickly as I possibly can and just see how they feel in each one of them. Right, Vaporfly's up first. Got them on. Nothing too noticeable, feel like a new shoe, but no amazing springiness or anything like that. But let's see how they go into pace. So let's do our mile. Okay, first mile done in the Vaporflies. They felt quite smooth actually. They're very, very firm in the forefoot and squidgy in the back foot. So I was playing around with them a little bit. Heel striking, toe striking. Yeah, interesting, feel nice. Just have a little rest now and then I'll do my half mile at 5:30s and really give them a spin. Okay, 5:30 rep, here we go. There we are, 3 minutes at 5:30 pace. Where I said they're firm in the forefoot, when you get to pace, you start slamming your feet down, the spring kicks in. Still feel firm, but that spring sort of kicks in. So these are definitely feeling like a 5k, 10k shoe. It's quite a good course I've mapped out here. There's some long straights and a lot of twisty corners. So I'll put it through all their paces and yeah, I'll be interested to see acceleration on some of them, top speed on the others. So there you go, it's very windy today, that's why I'm down here on Rock Park. I've avoided the Tarka Trail because it's just too windy. Now there's no denying it, the Alphafly is a beast of a shoe. That feels so different underfoot already, much more springy. Firmer than the version 1s, but still very, very spongy and very springy. So I've had 3 minutes recovery, it's quite long, but this is only a shoe test. So let's get into it. What a horrible squeak going on. In fact, my first impressions are these are very firm compared to the Alphafly version 1s. Such a difference. They are meant to be a bit more of a hybrid between the two, but this is noticeable. The Alphafly ones are very spongy, very soft. Maybe these will soften up in time, but that's noticeable. We'll see how we go. Okay, I'm really struck by how firm these are compared to the first version. But also, my first little interlude, I was doing 5:20 pace. I tried to slow it down and I thought I had quite a lot. It was 5:30s and now 5:50s, and I'm really trying to slow it down. So maybe they're just really reactive, but they are firm. Nothing like the first version. Okay, that's the first circuit done, 7 minutes, 5:49 pace. But they are firm, these shoes, and they are aching a bit. Probably just because they're new shoes, but they are aching. So yeah, jury's out on these at the moment, if I'm honest. I thought these would be better than the Vapors, but I'm not so sure. We'll do the speed test now and see how they compare. Okay, start the fast stuff. Here we go. God, they're such a loud shoe. Everyone in the park is looking at me. Probably hear me coming. And it's over the line. Very, very interesting. Found it harder to hit pace in them than I did the Vaporflies. That was not what I was expecting. Very, very interesting. Time for the Pumas now. I've got the Pumas on now. They literally have no heel. They are very weird, but they feel like they want to go. These feel like a 5K shoe. They feel very responsive. So interested to see how they go. I've had my rest, so let's do my mile. Let's try and aim for 6s and catch up then. Oh, these feel completely different to the other two. I'm quite enjoying this. These feel very smooth. Bit weird on the old heels and ankles, but if you get onto the toes, they feel quite good. Pace is 5:42. Being a bit naughty, really. Should be at 6s. We're just going with the flow. I don't think this test is done by a long shot. There we are, that's the mile or so in the Pumas. That felt very comfortable. I was very fast out the gates, 5:20 pace, a bit like the Alphas. Then tried to settle down and got comfortable at around 5:40. And it just felt smooth. So I thought I'd just stick with it. Do the half mile now, try and go a bit faster. But they feel pretty light and nimble. More akin to the Vaporfly, I would say, than the Alpha. Alphafly is all by itself, I think. And I wonder whether they need breaking in because they felt so stiff and they felt sluggish at the fast pace. But in the start of the mile, I got out the traps very quickly. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think the test is done yet. I might have to try and break them all in a little bit and then come back and do another test. But got about 10 seconds now to do the half mile. And here we go, let's dance. These, I think, is what these were made for. Still, the goal is 5:30, but I want that 5:30 feel. So if 5:20 feels like 5:30 feel, I will just go with it. I just want to feel, I don't want to like do like an all-out rep or anything. There we are, across the line. That felt quite good as well. 5:30 pace, no problem. Very similar to the Vaporfly. So what I think I will do next time is test the Pumas and the Vaporflies against each other head to head. I think throwing the Alphas in there they're in a different category. They felt all right actually on the long mile. The Vapors I sort of held at 6s and I felt okay. Then they really shifted on the short stuff. But the Alphaflies, they felt quite comfortable. I was struggling to get down to 6s, or up to 6s. I was in the 5:30s, 40s, and then 50s. And then they struggled on the fast bit. I think it was 5:37 pace. Then put the Pumas on, and they were very similar to the Vaporflies. Quite comfortable on the mile. That was the only difference. And then comfortable on the half mile. So really, I think we'll do another test at some point. Well, that was pretty good. Okay, so I'm back now and I've done my workout and I've come home and I've had a little think about things, and these are my sort of closing thoughts. First up with the Vaporfly, Very interesting on the feet. They're really hard, or really responsive and really firm in the front foot, and really squidgy in the back foot, which is quite interesting because you can play around with it. You can, if you land like there, it's really squidgy and bouncy, and if you land there, it's really tappy and responsive. And you can kind of play around when you're moving to try and find that sweet spot, probably in the middle, where you get a bit of cushion and a bit of spring. I did the mile, I was aiming for sixes, and I got in roughly around sixes, so that was okay. And then when I went and did the half mile, I was aiming for 5:30s, but I flew out the blocks. It was 5:20s, and they felt really responsive, a bit like a Vaporfly. So yeah, impressed by these for the 5K sort of pace stuff, 5:30 pace, and the marathon sort of pace, 6-minute mile in, okay, but these are definitely a fast 5K, 10K racing shoe. But overall, quite happy with them, quite impressed, and yeah, I think they're really good. Moving on now to the Alphafly. Very, very surprised by these. When I first put them on, they felt like an Alphafly. I thought, oh, these are much more squidgy than the Vaporfly. However, when I started to run, they were very, very firm. I've got some Alphafly version 1s, and they're really squidgy and bouncy and feel just like a nice marathon cruising shoe. But these feel much different. They're much, much firmer. Now, whether it needs time to break in, I'm not sure. And I probably will try and break them in a bit just to see if it softens out, but they were very stiff. That being said, when I did the mile, I got down to 5:20 pace very quickly. And I thought, oh, I need to back this off. So I backed it off, and I kept trying to back it off 5:30, 5:40. And at the point, I was trying to get down to sixes and just couldn't do it. I was running at 5:45, 5:50. I thought, I just feel comfortable. So makes me think, actually, although I was quite disappointed in the testing, I actually think maybe these are okay for a marathon shoe. But when I got down to do the 5:30 pace stuff, I just couldn't get down there. I was at 5:37 and I just couldn't get the pace. So maybe that's what they're for. They're for the marathon. They're not for the 5K, 10K. They're not as nowhere near as responsive as the Vaporfly. So disappointed by them in the fast stuff at the 5:30 pace stuff. But in the marathon, maybe. But like I said, the jury's still out with these. I'm going to probably break them in a bit more, test them, and maybe do a test comparison with the Alphafly version 1 to see what I think. But overall, yeah, not so sure at the moment with these. And then we're into the Pumas. Well, these are totally different to the Alphaflys and Vaporflys. When you put them on, it's very similar to putting on a pair of spikes. You'll know that if you put on a pair of spikes, there's hardly anything to them. This material there's nothing to it. And when they're on your feet, my God, they feel so responsive just walking around. This cutaway is very weird. You stand in and you feel like you've got no heel. But when you run, it's very, very smooth. You don't get this is very smooth here. You don't get the sort of slap and the bounce and the squeak and all the rest that you get with the Alphaflys. These are very quiet, and I found them very, very responsive. In the mile test, I got down to sort of about 5:45, 5:40 pace, and just felt really, really comfortable with it. So I think these were my favorites in that test. And then when I got down to the faster stuff, it was in around the 5:30 pace. I don't really see too much difference between these and the Vaporflys in the original test. So, but as an all-rounder, I do quite like them. Gun to my head, if you said, I've got to race a 10K soon. So if you said to me, what are you going to wear in the 10K? It's these. If you said to me, what am I going to wear in a marathon? I'm really not so sure. I think I'd probably go with my Alphafly version 1s, not those new ones. But I was actually really happy with these. And like I said, I can't wait to race in them and see what I think. So there we are, guys. That is my first impressions video of all three shoes. By no means is the decision made on any of them. I've just got, those are my first impressions. I will take them out for more testing, do more sessions with them, compare them with more like for likes, and then come up with a firm decision. But that was my first initial impressions. Overall, the Pumas, I really like them. The Vaporflys, again, I really like them. Not too much difference between the Vaporfly version 1 and those version 4s, to be honest. Not really anything in it. But the Alphaflys, they were actually a bit of a disappointment compared to the version 1s. But as I say, more testing to do. I'll race in them all and then see how we feel. But there we are. That's my initial testing. So if you like this video, please do me a massive favor and like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you on the next one.